I'd like to thank Bernie Newman for inviting me and the common sense citizens of Washington County here to speak tonight. I'd also like to thank all of you for appearing here tonight. My name is Robert Olson, and I'm running for Washington County Judge, Branch 3. I was born and raised in West Bend. My family has lived in West Bend for almost 50 years. My grandfather worked for the West Bend Company, and my father worked his entire career, excuse me. I attended kindergarten at Decorah Elementary School, grade school at St. Francis Cabrini, and high school at West Bend East, where I played football, basketball, baseball, and ran track. Following high school, I attended college at the University of Minnesota's Carlson School of Management, graduating with a degree in business with a major in finance. I then enrolled in Mitchell-Hamlin School of Law, graduating in 2001. I practiced law as a litigator in Minnesota for 8 years, working on cases ranging from nationwide class action lawsuits to single client lawsuits, involving many areas of law. The breadth of experience allowed me to see the judicial system from different perspectives. In 2009, I moved back to Wisconsin to be closer to my mother and family. I was licensed to practice law in Wisconsin in 2009, and since then, I've been representing clients throughout the state, taking on clients that most other lawyers would not, so that even the less fortunate could have access to representation. Why am I running for judge? The simple answer is that people don't seem to trust the courts anymore. And I want to do what I can to begin restoring faith in our local judicial system. The Constitution is the sole document that all laws trace back in order to determine whether they are unconstitutional or constitutionally valid. Scholars differed, but I adhere to the belief that the founders of the Constitution did not intend the Constitution to be a living document. If viewed as a living document, the Constitution becomes subject to constant interpretation. Every time the Constitution is interpreted, its meaning changes, even ever so slightly. But those changes can have a great ripple effect, like a tsunami in the open ocean that is barely noticeable, but when it reaches shore, it grows and causes tremendous damage. The more one interprets the laws, the more one changes the laws. At some point, the number of interpretations distort the law to such a degree that only the justices can tell what a law means on a case-by-case basis. This is not what the founders intended nor envisioned. The founders provided a mechanism for changing the Constitution, a constitutional amendment. In my 16 years of practicing law as a lawyer, I have met and practiced before many judges and many types of judges. Judges should not vary when it comes to the black letter of the law. And judges should never attempt to rewrite the law passed by the legislature to suit their desired outcome of a particular case. That is not the purpose of the judicial branch. It's the judge's sworn oath to follow the law. The judicial branch is to serve the people, to protect the people from the government by ensuring that their rights are enforced. The purpose of the judicial branch is not to govern. Its purpose is to be the people's last line of defense against an executive branch or legislative branch that oversteps its authority. Having practiced law in Washington County for the past 8 years, in my opinion, there needs to be changes. Judges need to follow the law, not just do what they want. Washington County is not a sovereign state. When judges do not follow the law, there is effectively no law. How is one to have faith in our local judicial system when laws are arbitrarily applied, or in some cases not applied at all? When that happens, it appears that only a few benefit from our judicial system, and it calls into question who our judicial system is serving, the people or certain interests. As a judge, I would make sure that at least my court would never be called into question. There is no place for bias or prejudice in the courtroom. The laws by which we are to live are created by many levels of government, federal, state, county boards, town boards, village boards, city boards, and administrative agencies. When disputes arise between parties in relation to these laws, the parties should know and have faith that a judge presiding over the case will consider the evidence and the law without bias, without prejudice, and be impartial to all. I will be that type of judge. A good judge is not determined by how many trials the judge has prosecuted or presided over. If that were the case, then all judges would get better with age. Obviously, that's not the case. Our judges need to strictly interpret the law, stop ignoring constitutional issues, and follow the law. Our judges need to uphold the law without bias or prejudice and be free from outside influences and affiliations. As a judge, I will strictly interpret the law. If the law does not say it, it's not the law. I will be free of bias and prejudice. I will be impartial. I will be free of outside influences, and I will uphold and defend our great Constitution for the people. District court judges are elected to a 6-year term. District court judges are not held to the same accountability as other elected officials. There is virtually no oversight or accountability for a judge. If a district court judge makes the incorrect decision, whether purposefully or not, that decision stands, unless otherwise overturned by the appellate or Supreme Court. That's why it's so important that we elect a fair, honest, unbiased judge that will follow the rule of law. Thank you, and I ask for your vote April 4th.